It is time for the letter of the day. And our letter of the day today is the letter D. Go ahead, say D. And here I am holding our capital D and our lowercase d. So today our job is going to be to learn all about the letter D and do the same things we've done with our other letters. We are going to take a look at some words that start with D. We're going to talk about the letter D sound, and then we are going to practice making our D's together. Okay? So when we look at capital D or lowercase d, it does not matter. That D is going to make the sound D. Let's practice that sound. Watch my mouth and say D. Good. Okay? Now, notice, just like our other sounds, we don't want to say duh. We don't want to add a sound to the end. We just want to say D. Okay? Let's do it 3 times in a row. Say D, D, D. Perfect. Okay, now that we know the sound for the letter D, and we know that that sound is D, we're going to take a look at a list of words with pictures that all start with the letter D. Okay, now you can see our capital D and our lowercase d on the screen, and let's get right into it. All the words you're going to see with a matching picture all start with the sound D, which is our sound for the letter D. Our first picture is Daisy. Say Daisy. So after you hear me say each word, make sure you say it too. Here is ice and time. You can hear duh at the beginning of all of these. Here's dinosaur, dog, doghouse, dolphin, donkey, donut, dress, drums, duck, and here's our list of words. Okay, all 12 of them that we just practiced. Let's say them one more time. Say them after me. Daisy, dice, dime, dinosaur, dog, doghouse, dolphin, donkey, donut, dress, drums, duck. All 12 of these words start with our letter of the day, the letter D, and that letter D says duh. Let's head on over to the big board so we can practice writing our capital D and our lowercase d. Okay, we're at the big board. It's time to write our capital D, lowercase d. I am going to show you 3 capital D's and 3 lowercase d's, and I want you to try to make them just like me when you practice. So let's start with capital like we always do. When I start with a capital D, I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to make a straight line down to the bottom. Then I'm going to pick my pencil or marker up. I'm going to go back to the top, and I'm just going to loop around till I connect the top with the bottom. And I've got a perfect capital D here. Straight line down, pick up, loop around to connect the top to the bottom. It's as easy as that. Let's see if I can do another one. Straight line down, pick up to the top, loop, one loop to the bottom. Very good. And I'll make one more. Straight line down, pick up, loop around to the bottom. That's 3 perfect capital D's in a row. Now, let's go on to our lowercase d. Lowercase d, we already talked about it a little bit when we learned the letter B. We want to make sure we're not confusing our lowercase d's with our lowercase b's. So, when I make a lowercase d, I'm going to make a straight line down. Just like B, lowercase d is one of our tall lowercase letters. Then I'm going to go in the middle and I'm going to make a loop to the left and touch the bottom to make it lowercase d. Remember, I'm just going to go over here for a second. When we learned about B, we said that the B was just the bottom loop of the capital B. So when we make lowercase b, we don't put the top loop, just the bottom, and it faces the same way. Our D has the same shape as our lowercase b, but the loop faces the other way. Watch me make one more. Okay, there's my straight line down. I'm going to go in the middle and make my loop to the left. I'm going to make one more for you. Straight line down, middle, and loop. All right, that's 3 capital D's, 3 lowercase d's to help you when you practice on your own. I know you're going to do a great job. Our letter of the day is D. We know that D says duh. And here's how we make our capital D's, lowercase d's. Good luck, everyone.